Caithness and I am President of the World Curling Federation, a post I have held for the last 10 years. I was the first female president of the World Curling Federation and in fact the first female president of any winter sport and one of only 2 female presidents from the 40 Olympic sports. In 1998 I became a representative for the Royal Caledonian Curling Club within the World Curling Federation, and at my second meeting someone brought up the idea of curling for disabilities. This really interested me, and on my return home I discovered that Sweden and Switzerland were trying out wheelchair curling during the World Handy Ski Championships in Crom, Montana. I then contacted Gavin MacLeod from Scottish Disability Sport, and together we travelled to Switzerland to find out more. We spent the weekend working with the 3 teams who were there to see what could and would work, and thereafter formulated the rules for the sport, which are the same as they are today. At the next meeting of the World Curling Federation, I gave a short presentation to the board and to our member associations to seek approval to introduce the sport. And later that year, the WCF offered me a volunteer position as the WCF Disabled Project Leader, a post I readily accepted, and thereafter travelled extensively to introduce the sport, organising World Championships and applying for entry into the Paralympic Winter Games as a full medal sport. I was delighted when we were accepted, and I was appointed technical delegate for the sport at the inaugural appearance in the Games in Torino in 2006 and again in 2010 in Vancouver. I should add that I did insist that all teams must be mixed gender. During these years I became heavily involved with the International Paralympic Committee and served on the 4-man Sports Council Management Team and also on the Paralympic Games Committee. In 2010, I then became President of the World Curling Federation and handed over the reins to a staff member for wheelchair curling, but I still remain very close to the sport. In 2013, I received the OBE from the Queen at Holyrood for services to curling and international disability sport. A huge and unexpected honour, and to be given this by Her Majesty was the icing on the cake. Her knowledge of the sport of curling was quite amazing, and indeed to know that curling stones were made here in Scotland from granite from Ailsa Craig was really quite amazing. Becoming President of the World Curling Federation was a huge honour, and during these past 10 years the sport has grown at a tremendous rate. There are now 64 countries part of the Federation, with many more applying for membership, and the sport is now played in every continent and is widely recognised as the fastest growing winter sport. Asia has embraced the sport, with Japanese curlers being treated almost as movie stars. New dedicated ice rinks are springing up everywhere, particularly in the USA, with some having waiting lists for membership. And earlier this year, the first dedicated ice rink was opened in Sao Paulo, in Brazil, where curling is the most watched winter sport during the Olympics. Being a woman president was a challenge initially. Not from the curling family, but throughout the years I have been involved, have been so very supportive, but on the international stage. Back in 2010, I well remember being introduced into a male-dominant sporting world at my first meeting in Lausanne. And to be taken seriously, I had to be quite forceful when wanting to be heard and getting my point of views across. And so, all in all, it was pretty tough. I do think, though, that we Scots are respected on the international stage. We say what we think and we mean what we say. And so very quickly I found my way, and since then I have loved every minute. I was very fortunate in being elected and also invited into various committees. The first and very important one was to represent the winter sports on the IOC Programme Commission. Now this commission looks at any new sport wanting to become an Olympic sport and also the disciplines which are part of every Olympic Games, both summer and winter. Thereafter, we make a report to the IOC Executive Board, who take the final decision. I first became a member in 2011, and I'm delighted to still be part of this very important commission. Since then, I was invited to be a board member of the IMGA, the International Master Games Association, an elected board member of GIFES, the Global Association of International Sport Federations, a member of the IOC Coordination Commission for the 2022 Beijing Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, and only recently asked to become a member of the Advisory Board of the World Academy of Sport. In 2019, I was awarded the CBE for services to sport, and was fortunate once more to receive this from the Queen at Holyrood Palace. Both these honours were totally unexpected and very humbling. I am passionate about the sport that I love, and I really enjoy telling my fellow sports colleagues how jealous they must be of curling. I can go into any ice rink in the world and be made welcome, and not because I'm the president, but first and foremost because I'm a curler. I never reached the dizzy heights of representing my country internationally on the ice, apart from a 3-week Scot tour to the USA in 1991. But being a woman, to be honest, has helped the sport of curling. As you can imagine, when I attend dinners and international conferences and events, being one of only 2 women presidents, I am easily recognised, and inevitably the conversation turns to curling. The sporting world has changed since I became involved on the international stage some 22 years ago. There is huge focus on gender equality on every level, and more women are now filling top positions. This is happening not as a result of the quota system, but because they are good enough. There are so many unsung heroes in the sporting world, and I often think, why me? I'm just an ordinary person doing something that I love, and having been granted this special honour means a lot, not only for myself, but also for my family, and even more importantly, for recognising the sport I love, curling. Thank you for allowing me to share my story with you today. And finally, I would encourage everyone to find something they are passionate about. Set yourself goals and work as hard as you can to achieve them.